Here we are again, everybody. Another edition of the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. My name is Mike Parker, sitting in here today and hanging out with a special guest this week. As promised, we like to introduce everybody to somebody new each week if we can here around the brewing company. And this week we're talking about not only the beer and the craft soda, but, drum roll please, the food. Because the food is such a major component of the success and the identity of ABC. So we bring in with us today Executive Chef Kyle Mason. My friend, how are you?
Very well. Hot out the kitchen, so look out.
Watch out. Hot out the kitchen. Hot plates coming at you. Kyle Mason, how did I meet you? Let's see.
I think we started our relationship here at Appalachian Brewing Company.
Yeah, we did. We did. So I'm thinking back around 2013 was the first time we crossed paths.
Yeah, you had freshly started, and I was just starting out.
So I was running the marketing office, and you were brought in here to
try to run the kitchen,
and come up with some new stuff and figure it out. So let's talk about you as a brand. Appalachian Brewing Company is everything craft down to the ingredients in the beer, to the way we source local ingredients to create the food. So let's just talk about that. From the beer to the kitchen.
Sure, that transition.
What's your philosophy when you get in the kitchen?
I mean, obviously here at Appalachian Brewing Company, we have such a unique product, something that we pride ourselves on. It's the reason why you're tuning in right now, because you know the quality that ABC brings. So one of my challenges was to replicate that same integrity, that same quality, but obviously in a different avenue. And being passionate about food, that was obviously the choice given. So what I try to do to bring out liveliness and to bring out the fresh peaks that we see on our menu now is incorporate every ounce of that goodness that you got in front of you right there, that beautiful, what is that, Capona Fest?
Yes. Speaking of, I've got one, you've got one, and...
we can cheers that.
Yeah, and this is the food is we're going to get to the beer in a second, but cheers.
There it is. I couldn't go any longer.
Could you please edit in a better sounding
clunk
than that?
That was all weak.
That was sort of weak, but I don't want to get that's better. Capona Fest. This is the end of summer beer in Harrisburg. Go ahead.
That's the name of the game, is taking these amazing beers that we produce here at all of our locations, day in and day out, and utilizing them to create a unique dish. Right down to, for goodness sakes, our gravy. We put gallons of Jolly Scott beer in that thing. So, down to our chili. We're making our chili infusing beer in it. We have salad dressings that we use. My favorite, Hoppy Trails IPA, and it just adds this unique, robust floral note to the dressing. So, really, it's the challenge is just being able to keep enough in my arsenal. That as new beers come out, I can throw something good at it.
Right, and it's sort of also, you can't rest on your laurels when you're in an industry that's always changing. So people are always coming to different locations of, craft breweries, micro pubs, whatever everybody wants to call these, wherever they're traveling around. It's like, hey, you're staying here in this random town, maybe overnight. Where's ask Alexa.
There's got to be a brewery around.
Where's the closest brewery? And inevitably, people end up at one of the ABC locations. So, they try new beers. It kind of, the adventurer in them, the little
ignited.
Something to test their palate while they're here too. So it's a pretty big responsibility, I'd say, that you have back there in the kitchen.
It's felt every day, but it's loved, and it's a passion that burns within, and obviously. If without passion, you certainly can't be successful in anything and can't have any drive. So I feel it, I replicate it, and it's emanated throughout this company. So it just makes it that much easier to be able to let it shine, so to speak.
All right. Well, I want to talk more about the food. I want to talk about the local inspirations, the local ingredients, the amount of training that the people who are working in the kitchen here with you have. But let's quick talk, since we mentioned it and we're taking a sip of it right now. Another sip of Capona Fest Lager. All right. Okay. This is ABC's Oktoberfest style Marzen Lager. Obviously, a famous style of the Bavarian fall beer festivals abroad, but that distinct toasted malt flavor, that amber color. It just has a crisp finish to it, extensive lagering during the brewing process, and alcohol by volume on this one is 6.5 with a 70 IBU, so it's got a real good balance, not too hoppy. And, when you're talking about a good beer, you want to pair it with some good food. So a good food pairing for the Capona Fest Lager is sort of up to the individual, but we like to make some recommendations. What would you recommend?
I mean, one thing that goes great with this style lager is definitely our chicken Caesar flatbread. That nuttiness in the Asiago cheese, the creaminess and the lingerance that the Caesar dressing leaves on your palate, with that little bit of tartness from the lemon. This Marzen style lager really helps to kind of calm the palate down and help everything wash over. So that's another great pairing. In addition to that, we also have some fantastic Oktoberfest style food and cuisine going on right now. We have a few schnitzel right off the bat would definitely pair well with this. Again, another creamy dressing or creamy mushroom gravy over top. This lager is going to help to break down that complexity and certainly help to wash over your palate.
All right, so right now,
I'm watering.
As you're listening, to the podcast, we're in the middle of Oktoberfest. So we talked a little bit about it, on the previous podcast to try to get folks in here for those who are listening in real time. It's going to be close to the end or just basically past here by the time we're listening to this. So what we're going to do is we're at least going to make an attempt to feature some of the food, which is hard enough to feature food and beer on a podcast and let you know what we're feeling. But why don't you Kyle brought a bunch of dishes in here from the kitchen, so let's quick try a couple of these and see what we've got.
Well, Oktoberfest is going on right now, so obviously our main cuisine is going to be German inspired. I brought a couple appetizers up here for us just to sample. These are a German pancake, Mike. It's done with a shredded potato. We actually do a little bit of fresh mashed potato whipped in there too. When in doubt, you got to fry it. So we've done it a little bit of a GBD, a golden brown delicious French fry on that. Gives a nice crispness. Actually, there it is.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no, that actually sounds really good.
So it's kind of like what you would almost like a play on a hash brown.
Yep.
But certainly, as you can see, a little bit of a larger style. They're about 5 inches in diameter there.
Yeah. A potato pancake type is sort of it's a festival food.
It is, and it's popular in a lot of different cuisines and cultures. We do an Irish fest too, and there is an Irish rendition of this same potato pancake, but not quite as crisp. It's almost like a traditional pancake. So it's unique when we start experimenting and playing around and moving to these different fests where you see the similarities and also the differences that make them so great.
That's so good. So good. All right. So on to the next.
Appetizer.
One.
Well, like I said earlier, we like to incorporate our beer. So this is our beer cheese. It's done with ABC's very own Mountain Lager. In a batch, there's probably about half gallon of Mountain Lager in there. So when we make about a gallon of beer cheese, so it's a good mix. But this is a little bit of Gouda. There's some horseradish in there.
I can taste the horseradish, and I'm enjoying it so much that I'm sort of like, what am I tasting here? So
do you get the little sweet note there?
Oh my gosh, it's
a little bit of brown sugar
with a sourdough salty pretzel like this.
Exactly. Yep. A little bit of brown sugar on there, and it has that unique pairing of salty and sweet. So makes it great. But
what's the name of that one?
This is our beer cheese.
Just the beer cheese. Simple. With the appetizer.
Sourdough
nice
pretzel.
Presentation. Got a nice cup of the beer cheese, a healthy portion, and some
as healthy as beer cheese can be.
Yes, some good. So here's the thing: elevated pub fare. Is it a fair way to put it? Sort of what we're
Absolutely.
going for.
We look for a unique spin, on our pub cuisine, and looking for something that's fresh and inviting. So we're always looking to kind of revamp or retwist a comfort food classic, or take something that's as simple as a potato pancake and put a different style flair onto it. Now, a lot of our German style recipes that we are featuring right now, they are going to be traditional, authentic style recipes. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that we try to be as authentic as possible when we're doing these fests. Oktoberfest is no exception. We want you to taste what they would have in Bavaria right now. So certainly we're not really putting too much of our ABC spin on it, other than, maybe some addition of some beer. I see you eyeing up the schnitzel, Mike.
Well, as you bring over the schnitzel over here, you said something that's important. Put the ABC spin on it. And one of the things and what that means is not only maybe infusing one of the house brewed beers, but also living up to the philosophy that if it's done from scratch, it's done right. It's not coming off of a frozen truck and just flash fried and presented
No
on a
way.
plate. It's just like you're in here. The restaurant opens every day at 11.
Yep.
You're in here. You're one of the first people in the building.
I am typically, I meet the cleaning gentleman here in the morning. So we exchange a little bit and then I'm on to work. So I'm typically here about 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning. Staff starts arriving shortly after and we get ready to go. That schnitzel, we're hand pounding every day, looking for, obviously the nice cut of pork that we want. We want that great marbling throughout, but we also pride ourselves in our freshness. So can't have good schnitzel if you're not taking the time to make sure that it's done the right way.
Okay, so schnitzel is again. What I'm seeing on my plate is first of all.
Well, you got the Schlachten plot, my friend.
Okay.
That is what the German culture calls the meat platter. So it features our hand pounded schnitzel that's on the menu.
That's me shaking the table as I cut this, by the way. So it's not. Go ahead.
It's as well. We do have a knockwurst on there, as in addition to our bratwurst that's on our menu all the time. It's our mountain lager bratwurst, and also some kielbasa. All of our cured meats, all of our sausages are actually purveyed to us out of a small little company called Red Castle in New Jersey. So we try to get as local as possible. They do a fantastic job, and they've done a wonderful job with the sausages. It's also served with some apple caraway kraut. Which is some sauerkraut, some fresh red delicious apples, and a little bit of caraway seed. And then my favorite is the German warm potato salad. That is a hot bacon dressing put over sliced red potatoes. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Bacon dressing's got a little acidity to it from some vinegar, a little sweetness into it, some sugar. It is,
I love it.
It is the bomb.
That's so good. That is something, by the way, I guess because being a local Pennsylvania guy, there's a lot of Pennsylvania, like Dutch influence too. Obviously, where's that come from? It comes from the same places these foods are originating from in a roundabout way. And the German influence on Pennsylvania Thanksgivings and even Christmas meals and things like that were just that. Were you talking like hot bacon dressing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the real deal.
Yep.
If you haven't been to a had
the Lancaster.
No, well, yeah, but you know what? I have family in Schuylkill County, and it's just and hot bacon dressing is. That's the thing, and I look forward to it every.
Salad too,
Yeah.
Spinach salad with some hot bacon. I use this dressing it's so versatile.
It's so
for
good.
many different things.
Kyle, well done. This is the
The Schlachten plot.
Schlachten plot, baby. I love it.
So
oh
the
my
meat
God.
platter. I couldn't, what host wouldn't offer his guests some excellent dessert?
Oh.
So this is actually, at ABC, we do pride ourselves in obviously scratch-made kitchen and doing everything that we can do. But when you find someone who does something as wonderful as this, you have to give them their due.
Okay.
This is a homemade strudel out of Bavaria from a small little company. We sourced it just for this Oktoberfest. It is absolutely amazing. I've done it a la mode with some vanilla ice cream. It's had a little chance to melt.
That is delicious.
It's light, it's flaky, it's got excellent cinnamon and sugar, thin sliced apples. I mean, it's just...
We just have such a... there's so much to relate between the cultures that we live in here in, Appalachian country versus, the Bavarian flavors, the flavors that come out of that over there this time of year as well. I mean, we've got apple festivals and everything. We live in one of the biggest apple growing, regions.
Similar climates. So,
exactly. And so it's just it just plays well. You're getting an international flavor with the local twist from the local people. And pretty much that sums it up for Appalachian Brewing Company. All right, Mike Parker here with Executive Chef Kyle Mason from ABC on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast. More to come. We're going to talk about what he puts his people through. The boot camp.
The ringer.
If you want to work here and run with the big dogs in this kitchen with this company, Kyle's going to give us a little bit of behind the scenes as how we make that happen when we come back. All right, Brewmaster Artie Tafoya is not here, so what Artie don't know don't hurt Artie. He told me, you keep drinking these wheat beers on the podcast and try something different. How about I always try something different. I can only have limited what am I saying here? I'm trying to get through a podcast. It's not like you can't get an Imperial IPA or two in me here. We won't get this thing done.
You could,
but anyway, as I take a sip from my favorite, the Hinterland Hefeweizen. Let me remind everybody about the great live entertainment coming up here at the Abbey Bar at Appalachian Brewing Company here as we slip into fall, late September, early October. abcbrew.com. Click on events, and you'll find the list and schedule of all of the great bands that are touring, groups that are heading around the country playing the cool small venues like the Abbey Bar here at ABC. Coming up in October, Solar Federation, which is a Rush tribute band. So if Rush is your thing, Solar Federation is awesome. Yarn coming in here on October 11th. Catalyst and Native Maize will be here a little bit later in the month on the 12th. And maybe my new favorite band, just based on the name alone, Gatos Blancos, will be here in October 25th. So always more acts being added to. If you're looking for great local venue with live music, great beer, great food, fun people, and an awesome atmosphere, it's easy to get to. It's right on the second floor here of the big ABC original brewery and headquarters in downtown Harrisburg, 50 North Cameron Street. The second floor is the Abbey Bar, one of Central PA's premier live entertainment venues. For more information, abcbrew.com, and for tickets, greenbeltevents.com.
How do you follow that up, Mike?
Oh, all right. Well,
we're following
up because we are back on the podcast, and it's Mike here with Kyle Mason this week, executive chef at Appalachian Brewing Company. We sampled some of the Oktoberfest food, Kyle. It's awesome seasonal stuff. But there's so many great items on the menu on a daily basis. So let's get into that. But first, let's talk about, first of all, what it takes. We know that being, a rock star in the kitchen is about being not only good at what you do, creative.
Yep.
You got to be fast. You got to make the people happy.
Absolutely. They always say you shouldn't sacrifice quality for speed and speed for quality.
Right. It is honestly.
It is a tightrope that you must walk.
Yeah, and a kitchen can become a pretty intense place, and it takes a special person, to work in the kitchen. A popular place, a hot spot like ABC too. So let's talk about.
Is that a pun? Was that a temperature pun, Mike?
If
hot
it is,
spot in the kitchen. Come on.
If it is, I think
the
it
grill.
Was pretty cool.
I'm
here to grill you.
But I'm bummed.
So what do you do if can I just walk in off the street and all of a sudden I'm
No. Somebody else possible. No, here at ABC we pride ourselves, and obviously we want the best of the best, certainly. But at the same time, we're proud of our training regimen. We're proud of taking someone who has drive, has passion, but maybe not all the culinary experience in the world, and grooming them into, who knows, maybe our next kitchen manager. And it's really all about those two things that I just said, passion and pride. If you have those two, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to be successful, whether it's at the kitchen in ABC, whether it's bartending in ABC, whether it's CEO of any company you want to be. Without those two things, you're not going to be successful. So, yes, anyone off the street is more than welcome to come in and apply, but we are certainly looking for those two intangibles, if you know what I mean. With that in mind, though, certainly, like I said, we do have an excellent training program. We have online training that each and every member of our staff, both front and back house, goes through, and that entails everything from corporate agenda all the way up through individualized training, whether it's line cook, utility position, morning prep cook, all of those things. And then certainly there's no replacement for the experience of actually doing. So we start every cook in the kitchen after they've completed that online tutorial training. And I like to start them out, with the basics, learning how to prep, learning how to, correctly, maybe it's slice and dice and those things if they don't have the skill set, or even learning our recipes, learning how to make our meatloaf, or our cheddar ale, so that as they start progressing and turning into those line cooks, they're more aware of how things started and where they're going. So it makes them even stronger of a cook professionally because they kind of know the origins of each dish as opposed to just, there it is in front of me, let me execute.
All right, well, I hold in my hands right now
the Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail of, this is basically like, I mean, it's like your resume, essentially.
It is.
Going forward. And
I got about 8 from this company alone.
This is the menu. It's the menu.
I think we've created a few of these over the
Yeah,
years.
well, a little bit of. I recognize some of the styling that remains here from my time at the marketing office, and I think it looks great. I think, first of all, it's only improved since I left. But we gave it a
vast improvement. No,
Artie has said before. He said you put us on the right path. And to me, that's good enough.
Mike, you trailblazed that path for us. So I mean, you had the machete ready.
Is that
to
a
run.
pun?
No, that is not. Trailblaze Maple Brown.
I love Trailblaze Maple Brown. All right, so the reason I'm opening up the menu here is because honestly, it's not only does it speak to me and some of my favorite stuff, but I want to ask you. You have. You've been here 6-7 years now at this point, so
6 years.
It's a place. It's a place for you that it's your home. There's no avoiding it, Kyle. You guys like the beer is infused with the food. Sometimes you're infused.
Yeah, I'm ingrained in this thing.
So
absolutely.
Look down. Tell me one or two of the favorite items that like you came up with on the menu and what inspired you.
Jalapeno poppers.
Okay,
that was one that we came out with probably about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that seems kind of like.
Because
but I mean, like jalapeno poppers, right?
I can walk every day.
I could walk through the frozen food aisle and it's jalapeno, but that's not what this is.
It's not what that is at all. It's actually a fresh jalapeno pepper that we get in every day. We decore them and remove all their seeds and stems. Stuff them with our own cream cheese mixture. It's a little proprietary blend, but there's certainly some bacon in there, some tomatoes, and obviously seasoning. And then we will wrap them with applewood smoked bacon ourselves and bake them off. So it's not like your everyday breaded, deep-fried jalapeno popper. They're actually a baked, fresh, bacon-wrapped pepper, which they're just fantastic. I love bacon.
Yeah. No, who doesn't? And plus, if you're like me and you're like a lot of people, you've got sort of a crazy palate to enjoy a lot of different. Like I just think beer drinkers in general like flavor.
Sure.
So bacon, jalapenos,
nice little spice there.
The
goes great with
stuffing.
a lot of our beers. We do a lot of IPAs here.
Yeah.
And spice and IPA go hand in hand together.
All right. So the bacon wrapped poppers, as generic as it sounds, for you to say that's one of your favorite.
But
you literally reinvented a favorite to make
twist.
it.
Like I said, we try to take that classic comfort food and put a different spin on it. So another favorite is our beef on weck, and I know it seems like a kind of a generic prime rib roast beef style sandwich, but it's anything but. We're actually brining that beef in our beer for 24, 48 hours. Then we're seasoning it with a rosemary rub salt and then another 24 to 48 hours to cure. After that, it's going to be slow roasted to a nice rare. And then that's when we put it in an RSU and we'll put it on our Kimmelweck roll. So it's anything but ordinary, and it's truly the labor of love there.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about one of the unsung heroes on the menu.
Sure.
This is no joke because, first of all, if I were to tell this, I'm saying this out loud maybe for the first time, but one of my favorite items and one of the things I order the most when I come into ABC is the ABC Black Bean Burger. Okay?
Yes.
Because
that is me all through and through.
Yes, because before you got here, 10 years ago, the veggie burger, whatever existed on the thing, no offense, but I hadn't really tried it.
You're not taking me.
but you had this idea, so to bring this thing and elevate it, and I think I had probably the pleasure of sampling it when you first made. And seriously, to this day, it's one of my favorite foods because I just know it won't disappoint me. As much as I love a meat burger,
we've been doing Impossible Burgers for years.
Yeah, this thing seriously, if that's a trendy thing right now. ABC's Black Bean Burger is seriously top notch. So tell me what actually goes into that, because you're in here making them every day.
We do. They are freshly made product here. They're actually 100% vegan and 100% gluten free. So I mean, I
am not that. That's the thing.
But that's the thing. Anybody can enjoy it, you know, and it's so versatile. But it's basically a lentil blend. We do our own green lentils, French green lentils. We reduce them down, and obviously they soften up. From there, we're using our binders such as flaxseed and rice flour to keep those things gluten-free and vegan-free. It's got some awesome fresh celery, peppers, onions, in addition to black beans. And then we kind of gave the flavor a little bit of similar, like a Moroccan style, with a little bit of coriander in there and some cumin. So it kind of played off that falafel-y texture and flavor, but still completely its own right.
And it holds together. And that's the other part, too, is it's not like some...
mush.
No, it's not mush. It's not like you're putting oatmeal on a burger bun. It's seriously, I cannot endorse it enough. I usually get it with the yurt, the yurt-style burger. So
he gets the black bean burger, then puts bourbon bacon on it.
Yeah, exactly. See, there you go. So all this
balance, my friend.
All that vegan, gluten-free stuff is out the window for me. But the burger itself, if that's what you wanted, it's one of the options. So
I think it's great on the bulgogi with the pineapple and the Korean barbecue.
Okay, we'll do that next time I come in. All right, we're here with Kyle Mason, executive chef of Appalachian Brewing Company. My name's Mike. You're on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast, and we'll be right back. Well, everybody, it seems like you can buy beer just about everywhere. I mean, finally, Pennsylvania got its act together a couple of years ago and allowed us to buy beer somewhere other than, some beer distributor on the strip mall on the way home, in the back alley in the dark.
Nothing against the brew-throughs.
No. So after you were done blowing the dust off of the case in front of the beer that you actually wanted to buy, or fought your way through those plastic curtain things into the cooler for an extra 50 cents, you get it, walk out with actually some cold beer. The thing is, now you can buy beer just about everywhere, the grocery store, the convenience store, and Appalachian Brewing Company is happy to be part of the offerings at those places. So look for ABC brands of beer wherever you go in bottles. But hey, while you're at it, where can you get beer fresher than at the brewery itself? When you come into your favorite Appalachian Brewing Company location, just look for the beer to go cooler. We've got all of our flagship beers and craft collection brews, plus anything new that might be coming out that we're bottling for the season. So mix and match a 6-pack. Take home a fresh growler of beer from the bar or a crowler when available. Some of the new beers that have just come out, Zombie Apocalyptics. Obviously, a Halloween-inspired beer with the zombie culture out there in Lidditz in Lancaster County, one of our favorite locations. There's the old batch number 666 Halloween beer, a delicious, full-flavored beer. And my favorite, the Ruddy Buck Spiced Porter, an awesome, flavorful ABC pumpkin beer, just in time for that fall season. Make Deer Camp beer camp. Take up a growler of Ruddy Buck Spiced Porter. Okay, so back here at the podcast of Appalachian Brewing Company with executive chef Kyle Mason, who's been an awesome guest this week. Thank you for the food.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for the education about how you guys keep things hot, fresh, and local. So where do you see it? Where do you see it going into the future? Like, where are you going to find inspiration for something new on the menu?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm always looking at, things that obviously we've done well with and ways to reinvent maybe, like I said, that comfort food classic that just needs a fresh new twist on it. So as far as where ABC's going, I mean, certainly we want to continue to innovate and push the boundaries of food and beer and obviously our sodas and liquor as well. But at the same time, we want to stay true to our roots, to what's made us successful. So I can't imagine us straying too far from that comfort trail. Mm-hmm. But wherever we go, it will certainly be kind of running parallel with it.
Also, you have the luxury of having some pretty creative guys and gals and some inspiration within the same building talking about the brewery. So
Absolutely.
As they're coming up with new beer recipes, that might set off a light bulb in your head and say...
Certainly does. A lot of times, actually. I know they're doing... right now we have this raspberry sour that just came out. And the first thing that came to my mind was a fantastic dessert. Maybe like a raspberry creme brulee, with that sour on top. So... always thinking of stuff that's new. And that's the greatest inspiration of it all is obviously the peers around you and those that are kind of maybe looking at something a little bit differently than you have. And that light bulb triggers off. So.
We had the head brewer, your buddy and mine, John Stradiff, on the podcast last month. And he had a pretty funny story about some Oops beers, like a good, a brewery legend at this point over the past 5 years or so, the Blank Stare IPA.
Sure, yeah.
It was just an oops.
Kind
We kind of
happened
did it
by mistake.
we sort of came upon this incredibly flavorful beer. So, I mean, anything like that ever happen in the kitchen where it sort of was like an oops, but now it's become a staple?
We've had a couple in our time. We've had things that have certainly stuck and things that haven't. We like to throw in, like I said, beer in anything that we do. One oops that kind of happened by mistake was, and it sounds like it goes perfectly together, but it took so long, was Chocolate Avenue and brownies. That was just something that somebody had done by mistake and literally thought they were making beer batter. And nope, and it was they weren't in the right mixer at the time. One that we've kept through the years is Honey Habanero. Honey Habanero actually started out as a mistake, and lo and behold, it kind of transformed into this staple that's on our menu that does not that completes the rockfish with it. Like rockfish are not tacos without Honey Habanero.
I could dip French fries in it all day long too.
We have guests that use it as salad dressing.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like it is. It's sort of perfect.
So it's kind of that right consistency. But
wow. Well, so Chocolate Avenue Stout mixed with
mixed in some brownies. I mean,
into the brownies, awesome.
Yeah, and that was a mistake. And
Honey Hob. Thank goodness somebody screwed up on that one.
Somebody messed up that one real bad.
So good. All right. Well, it's been an awesome time hanging out with an old friend, executive chef Kyle Mason. Believe it or not, you and I are on YouTube. So we did a couple of features on
most hated Good Day PA viewed episode ever.
No, absolutely not. So if you want to see the man behind the microphone here this week, or
20 pounds lighter, I think at least.
Kyle Mason and I had appeared on a local Harrisburg TV show called Good Day PA a few times, where early on in that show they were looking for guests, and the connection from some friends. We took in some beer and some food, and I think they probably hold up to this day.
I've seen some others, and I don't think they had our spunk.
No. Nice. All right, Kyle, it's been a pleasure. Again, thanks for the food. Thanks for sharing a beer with me. Capona Fest. So end of summer, start of fall. Can it really be winter on the way? Oh my gosh, so quick. The only thing I can say about that is at least there's always more beer on the way. For Kyle this week, I'm Mike on the Appalachian Brewing Company podcast, where we say...